All right. Good afternoon, everyone, to our special Student Advisory Council meeting this afternoon. I just wanted to welcome you all. This is going to be a short meeting. Our regular meeting is going to be on February 23rd, as you know. But we wanted to go over just a couple of items with you all. Hopefully you all are safe from the ice storm and the weather today. I know some of you had school closed today, but I'm so happy to see so many of your faces. First of all, I just wanted to toss it off to Commissioner Glass and see if he wanted to give you all a short welcome, and then we'll get right into our agenda.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming together so quickly, and hopefully everybody's staying safe. It's great to see all of you. I think we want to talk some about how we hope to use students in an upcoming listening and engagement effort that we have going on in the state. So we're excited to talk about that with you and see what ideas you might have around that.
Absolutely. So I think that is actually our first item on the agenda. So many of you have received the information, and hopefully you can maybe by a show of hands or let me know in the chat about the commissioner's virtual tour that's going to be, looks like Miles is trying to come in there. The commissioner's virtual tour that's going to be taking place April 6th through May 6th. And what we're going to be doing with these, this is just kind of a tour for us to get, well, really for the Department of Education to gather what are the state's aspirations for the education system in the state. What are our stakeholders, every stakeholder, and that involves you as students, your parents, your family members, your teachers, really everybody. What are their aspirations for our education system here in the Commonwealth? And so what we're trying to find out is, based on a series of questions that are going to be empathy based, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in the next couple of weeks. We'll just talk to you a little bit about that today. But we really want students to be heavily involved and you all to be heavily involved in this process. So with me today, I have Karen Dodd, who is helping with the planning process. I think you've met Karen before, and then obviously the commissioners with us as well. So the way these tours are going to be, we're going to be doing them, kicking them off.
Oops, hey, Tony.
Yes.
We have a request from Michaela for interpreters. I think let's turn on the captions and see if we can do that for her. Turn on live captions. Let's try that. There it goes. Okay.
All right. Are they on now?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Hopefully. Sorry about that.
You have to do that individually. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's correct. Captions are viewer specific. So whoever needs them just goes up to those three dots and turn on live captions.
All right, I'll put that in the chat for Michaela so she can see that.
Okay. All right. And we'll give it just a minute or two for that to come up in the chat.
There we go. Okay.
She says they are working. Perfect. Great. So going back to catch up, we'll just I'll kind of recapture what I was saying. So with the commissioner's virtual tour that will kick off on April 6th, it'll be kind of starting off in Louisville. The good thing about this tour is that it is virtual. So regardless if you are in Louisville, you can attend the one in Hazard, you can attend the one in Bowling Green. You don't really have to leave your living room or wherever you want to be for attending these. So we do want you to attend as a student, but we also are going to ask for some help in facilitating this virtual tour. So I'm going to go, I guess go over kind of what our thoughts are with the process of this. From the beginning is to the goal, as I mentioned earlier, is to kind of capture what are our aspirations for the Commonwealth's education system. And that, can be anything from, what do you hope to, accomplish by the time you graduate high school? What do you hope for your younger brother and sister, for, the elementary age child that you see walking around your elementary schools? Really anything from preschool to, going on through college, getting into college. So these are all questions that we're going to be asking. We're kind of calling them bucket questions based on CTE, equity, things, just all sorts of teaching and learning options, things of that nature. So this listening tour will start off with Dr. Glass will be doing a kind of like 5 to 7 minute TED Talk of sort.
It keeps shrinking, Tony. I think it's going to be down to 1 to 2 minutes now. So I'm just keeps getting shorter.
Well, no, it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes, hopefully. Well, I don't know. We'll see. That's up for discussion. So he hasn't. This is news to me, but no. So about a 5 or so minute TED Talk. He will do these live. So each one ideally would be the same. You'll get what you get at one of the listening tours. You'll get pretty much at the same one. But this will be done via kind of breakout rooms. So we don't want to have more than about 15 to 20 people, probably a maximum of about 20 people per breakout. And then have each of the breakouts led by students teamed with a team KDE member. So each student that would be hosting, kind of asking these questions, will be about 8 to 9 questions, doing these kind of what we call empathy interviews. And we'll be training you all how to do that if you're interested in helping us do these. You'll be teamed with a team KDE member. There will also be kind of a note taker in each room, so about 3 people per room, plus the attendees. And just really rich in conversation is what we're looking for. We don't want to walk in and have we want people to let us know what their thoughts are on these questions, really provoking lots of stories, experiences that they have had based on the framework of questions that we're asking. Karen, did you want to add anything else kind of to give them kind of an idea?
Yeah, I think you pretty much got it. Yeah, it'll just be you working with the KDE person. So I think one of the things that we'll want to do beforehand is really practice how to do that kind of, we call it interviewing, but you're going to be with a larger group of people. So how to facilitate that kind of a conversation. So I think Tony, is that something we were planning to do with this group closer to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're interested, again, like I know some of you may not, I think this group is pretty outspoken and enjoy doing this kind of work. So I wanted to, and we're also going to be working with the Kentucky Student Voice, or the Kentucky Student Voice group as well, and trying to get some volunteers. We're going to need a lot of help with this because we do, again, want this to be our students to kind of help us with the students, leading these sessions. So it is going to take a lot of work in terms of, go ahead.
I was just going to add, we'll need people asking the questions, helping to facilitate the questions, scribes, so people taking notes, and we'll have a template for how to take those notes, and that's something that we'll practice as well. So if you're not comfortable speaking and you'd rather have a note-taking role, we're certainly open to that as well. We're just looking for your help in any way that you're comfortable.
And when the types of questions, and when we talk about empathy interview questions, and I'll give you an example. So when we call like bucket questions, there'll be one in there about kind of testing. There'll be one in there about, equity and civics. And so a lot of these are questions like, tell us about a time when, or, tell us a story about your favorite teachers, or when was the last time school really felt like a place that knew you as a whole person, or knew you as a whole person, or things like that. Or can you tell us a story when you learned the most important thing about working in the real world? Just thought-provoking conversations that inspire kind of stories, things like that. So I think with that, I was just going to see if you all had any questions about that. And I'll let you, if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Amy, it looks like you have a question. Did you want to add? I can put it in the chat, or did you want to raise your hand and ask it for the group?
I can't find a hand raise function, so I did put it in the chat.
Okay, it says, will the listening tour be open to all community members in a region? Will it be targeting a specific group? That is a great question. And the answer is it is open to everyone. Just because we are kind of targeting these towards specific cooperative regions, does not mean that you have to be part of a certain region to attend that particular meeting. So anybody in the state can attend any one of these listening tours, and there is no limit to how many people or how many per group. Really, the only thing that we're limiting is the number of breakout rooms. So if there's 500 people signed up for Louisville, then we will probably try to have 50 breakout rooms, or whatever, so that we can limit the amount of people per breakout room. And that'll be a mixture of students, community members, lawmakers, so that each group will have, you will be assigned a breakout room, very similar to, you all are familiar with Zoom and breakout rooms, things like that. That's how this will be set up through that similar sort of format. Looks like I have another question. I'm trying to see that I can't see who. Oh, Anastasia, do you have a question?
Yes. So if we wanted to volunteer at one, would we have like a specific training day like before the meeting to learn all this?
Yes, ma'am. We will definitely prepare you for this, because it is definitely a skill set to make sure that you all are prepared. To know how to handle, to be able to ask the questions and be able to shift, because you want to also make sure, we are on a time limit. This is a 90-minute tour. We want to make sure that we're able to get through all 8 or 9 questions. And so there is a way to kind of get about, moving about, so you can properly move swiftly through the questions. So yes, there will be opportunities for some training. Gavin.
Hi. Do you all know how many different meetings there'll be? Like if there will just be one, or if there'll be like 3, or is there just or are there just meetings generally? There
will be 9, correct? Is that right? 9 total? I think there's 9.
That's correct.
Yeah, 9 total, and they are all between the hours of, so depending on your local time, 6 to 7:30. So they're all in the evening. And if somebody could put those, just because I'm facilitating the meeting, if someone could help me out and put that in the chat so you all can have a link to the dates on those, that would be great, so that you all can look. They start on April 6th, and we're doing them twice a week. So I think they're mostly Tuesdays and Thursdays. And, if you all can sign up for more than one and help do some facilitating, that would be great. If you can, but we certainly want you to participate too. So I don't want you to feel like, you have to facilitate, but you can't participate. So I want you to do both if you can. Perfect. Thank you, Meredith. There should be a link there that tells you, and again, just because you're in E-Town, Gavin, does not mean you have to attend the one that's kind of E-Town. If the one in Louisville works for you, or the one in Hazard works for you, or Eastern, it doesn't matter. It's just, whatever date and time works. That's the beauty of these virtual ones, is you can kind of pop in and attend any one that you would like.
Thank you.
If I might interject real quickly, Tony, just if the students on here can help us in sharing this with your social circles and schools and people you may know, so we get a good student representation at these. So and I have put the article on Kentucky Teacher that has all that information in it, if you'd like to copy and share that through your social media networks.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. I think, this will allow, there's a lot of times we talk about, having that voice. And this is a great opportunity to be put into a group with, a lot of other stakeholders and really having that voice. Not only just helping us facilitate, but also being part of that process. So we're really excited. I think this is going to be a lot different than anything the department's done in terms of like of a tour. We've never really done a virtual listening tour before, because we've always done them in person. But I think this is really exciting, and I think that we're going to be able to gather, we'll be able to gather a lot of information. It looks like there's a question there. Is there a deadline for community members to sign up for? The short answer is no, because I know that people will have, we do want people to try to RSVP ahead of time, just so that we can try to plan to have enough facilitators and enough moderators. So that's why we are asking for people to kind of RSVP ahead of time by signing up. But I do realize that people may at the last minute decide, oh, I want to attend this at the last minute. So we understand that. And so, hey, if at the last minute you decide I want to join this meeting, we will try to accommodate that. And hopefully my plan is to have enough kind of people on standby where I can pull people in and say, I need 2 extra moderators because I need to do an extra breakout room and et cetera, like that kind of thing. But there'll be a lot of information coming because obviously we have less than 2 months before our first one. So there will be a lot of training and making sure you all feel comfortable. And like I said, we'll be meeting with the Kentucky Student Voice team, I think next week, to talk with them as well. And making sure that you all feel comfortable in whatever role you decide to do. If you don't feel comfortable leading the, leading the questions, there'll be opportunities for note taking. There'll be opportunities for discussion afterwards. Just lots of opportunities for student voice and having options here. What are your thoughts on this? What do you all think about having this virtual listening tour? I'll open up the floor. Anastasia.
I definitely think it's a good way for students to be able to ask questions, because I know most of the time students are like, oh, well, the commissioner doesn't always have time just to listen to the students. So I think being able to be a student rep and be able to get other students in the community involved will help build a communication track for everybody to communicate and share their ideas.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, Caleb?
I'm really excited to learn about this, and I look really forward to helping out with a couple of these events. I just want to say that it's really great to see that KDE is really making an effort to take the statewide work to the community level, and I think that building on that communication track that was just that the speaker before me just spoke on, I think it's a great opportunity for us to really build a sense of community, as we will include teachers and students and just community stakeholders in general. So I'm really excited about this. Great.
And certainly, just not just among your students, but also, let your teachers know, let your parents know, let your, all of your community, your church members, wherever you go, let them know about this and get the word out there. And please encourage them to pre-register, just because it'll be easier for us to hopefully, manage, just so we have enough people to help facilitate. But I certainly understand that there will be people at the last minute that might want to join or may not be able to join, and that's certainly understandable. Anna, go ahead.
Well, first I want to clarify if I heard this right, but lawmakers are also going to be in the breakout rooms, correct?
They are invited to attend, yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, I really like that, because that's where we actually see the change happening, when you get people who make the change and listening to people who want the change. So I'm really glad that lawmakers are going to be there.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I'm also pretty excited about it. I think if it's done the right way, and it sounds like it is, I think you can be really productive, and I think we'll get a good turnout.
Great. Well, good. Well, I just, again, just wanted to kind of bring you all together and give you an update on what we're doing. There's going to be a lot of, a lot more information to come. This is, we essentially announced this, I think, about 2 weeks ago. A lot of what we're going to learn through this virtual tour is going to shape a lot of the things that we do here at the department. So the answers that we receive, in the feedback that we receive from a lot of these areas, a lot of our associate commissioners are going to use in formulating plans on how we move forward with assessment, how we move forward with equity. Dr. Woods Tucker, I see he's on here. I think a couple of other associate commissioners are on, how they move forward in all of our work. So really, to encourage people to share, their experiences, I think really provides that kind of that human touch and that human element that we're really, we really want to connect with at the Department of Education as we build this work and build kind of this visionary focus for our future that the commissioner is working on and that we're trying to achieve as we look forward. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. And it looks like somebody was asking, what was the message in the chat here? Is there some sort of I'm missing it. I don't know. Somehow
Kate asked if there's a press release or information article that they can share to introduce this, and I just pointed him to what Dr. Glass shared, the link that he shared, so that can be tweeted out or however you all do that.
Yeah, and we can resend, after this meeting's over with, I can re-forward you the press release that we sent out as well. But there's also that link for Kentucky Teacher that you all can share as well. Any way that you want to share it would be great. But all that information is there, the Google form, and just getting them to sign up. I think we have about 175 people. That last I looked about 2 hours ago, 175 people have signed up or have pre-registered for the tour. And that's across the state. If I were to get competitive here and look, it looks like we have about 55 people in Louisville. I think another 55 in Lexington. There was a couple of other ones that are, 15, 20s in some of the other cities. So I think, once the word gets out and more people find out, and as dates come closer, we'll get more and more. But I think, just getting the word out. Dr. Glass will be doing a lot of media tours on this. I'm going to be working on getting him on some of the morning shows to talk just about the importance of getting the voices of people in the community, and why this is so important to get people to join, and really just the flexibility of not having to really leave your home to provide your voice. I think that's just something that's really unique about this is, typically a lot of times it's, during your dinner hour after dinner, this will be, you'll be allowed to really not have to go anywhere and find a parking spot, and which typically can be, when you're working and such, it can be kind of stressful. So I'm hoping that will encourage more participation and give people an easy way to join and participate in this. Was there any other questions? Go ahead, Karen.
Amy asked what groups have we already shared this tour with. So of course the media announcement went out. We're going to be sharing it with our other advisory groups, but you all are the first group that we've actually had a one-on-one, if you will, conversation with. So we really wanted to start with you and leverage your support, but it'll be going out to other advisories as well.
Yes, we'll be asking a lot of our other advisory groups for help as well, mainly with, kind of the note taking. And we also will be calling on many of those at Team KDE and the Department of Education to partner with you and our students to help you with these groups, because we want to make sure it's an adult student team to help with this, so you guys can kind of bounce off of each other in these rooms. So that you have an outlet, and then also the note taker as well. So kind of a 3-member team in each of the breakout rooms. And then, and we'll be doing kind of a dry run through the Department of Education as well first, so that the KDE people and staff can provide feedback as well, because, we want to get, valuable feedback from inside the department as well. So that'll be our first one. So we're actually doing 10 of these. So Commissioner will be doing 10 5-minute talks. And so the first one will be coming up towards the end of March. We're going to kind of run that one through first, but then go live on April 6th. So again, just really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great opportunity. And if you all have any ideas too about how we can get this word out to more of your student groups, or please reach out, let me know, and we'll be sharing more information. This will definitely be on the agenda for the February 23rd meeting, the regular student advisory meeting that we will have in a couple of weeks to discuss more. I think we'll have more information too about training and things like that as well. I'll probably do that in breakout kind of smaller groups so that we can get it done quicker. And so we'll have more information on that. And I can send out, what I'll probably do is send you out once I meet with this, the student advisor or the student, Kentucky's, the other student group too, is kind of get an idea of what you're interested in. Would you be interested in leading the questions? Would you be interested in taking notes? What is your interest in helping us with this particular, with the tour? And then, once we can figure out what you might want to do, figure out how we can help you succeed in that. Great. Commissioner, did you have any other thoughts on the listening tour for the kids?
I don't. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you being on. Great.
All right. So the other agenda item we had was just I wanted to talk. I know some of you guys are working on some of your groups or some work, some individual group work, and I didn't know real quickly if you wanted to share some of that. I see Stoyana is on. Did you want to provide an update on any of your Kentucky Board of Education work while you're here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so, well, Kentucky Board of Education, I kind of keep separate from kind of student council. So, but I have been in talks with just using my connections through the Kentucky Board of Education and using that to upstart projects. And I've been in contact with members of the council as well. And we, there's also, we kind of, well, with the Jefferson County group, we have a lot of members there represented on the council. And so we have also been in discussion on ways of providing resources towards students that kind of represent like inclusivity and just, yeah, just making those resources known, whether that's through JCPS or through KDE. And also, just finding avenues to reach out to students and to make known that we do have a role here in the state and in our own district. So we've been trying to come up with ways to implement those things. So yeah, we're just using kind of our connections at this point, and everybody at the department, everybody everywhere is so supportive of this work, and so I couldn't be more thankful.
Great. Does have anybody else have any other projects they'd like to share? Any of the other I don't know if any of the other Jefferson County kids are on and want to share about that project, or any other projects that are being worked on. I know Caleb, you're working on a couple of things as well.
Yeah, and I can sort of briefly touch on that. So, of course, let's see here. Really focusing on equity in our schools here in Breathitt County, ensuring that, everyone is being treated fairly. And then also, my work lately has really just been focused on ensuring that students are considered at all levels of decision making, especially during this time of COVID crisis that we're living in. So, yeah.
Great. Does anybody else, anybody else has anything to share, please raise your hand so I don't leave you out. Also wanted to just put it out there that we will be, I know it's hard to believe, but it is February. So, and I know we have plenty of seniors, and it's going to be really sad to come across, but we will be opening up the applications for for the open positions on Student Advisory Council. Actually, that's going to be announced on Monday. So we will be opening up the, I think there's about 6 or 7 of you guys that are seniors that will be graduating in the class of 2021. So we will be opening up the application process for the Student Advisory Council on Monday. So more to come on that as well. That'll be open for about, I think it's open for about a month. So other students who want to apply for the Commissioner Student Advisory Council will have an opportunity to apply and go through that application process. So just to let you all know, get a little heads up on that. That'll be released on Monday via press release, and I'll share more about that too at the February 23rd meeting, but be looking for that. If you have other friends and other circles that you'd like to share that with in your particular board districts, that would be great. Sam, I see that you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I had a question about the application process. Are the spots favored towards areas that are not represented on the council, or is it solely based on how good the application is?
So each of the spots on the Student Advisory Council are kind of based on they're kind of set up based on the Kentucky Board of Education districts. So there's a certain amount of spots that are allotted. So they are strategically placed to make sure that there is equal representation in the state. And then we also allow for representation for CTE students as well. So, and then also from the Kentucky School for the Blind and the Kentucky School for the Deaf. So we have, we try to make sure that there are, and I can't remember off the top of my head, we did expand to this past year to allow for a few more student voices on the council. I think we're at 28 total, 28 or 29 on the Student Advisory Council, just to be representative of the 650,000 roughly students that we have in the state. But I think it's about 2 or 3 from each school board, state school board in their district. And then also depending on size as well. So I know like Jefferson has maybe 4 or 5 and Fayette has 4, but that's because of their size. But most of the other districts should have at least 2, maybe 3. And depending on who is graduating, those would be the spots that would be open. And we do have a couple of at-large members as well. So it just depends on who's going on and who's going off. Thank you, Meredith, for putting that in there for me, because I was kind of trying to go from memory as to who makes up the advisory council. And again, last year we did add a couple of more spots in there just to allow for more representation. So that's kind of how we go about that. But then once we get the applications, there is as you know, we did change the process this past year in terms of having to interview before the interview panel. And we will continue that this year. You know, the applications are scored. We do have judges that come in and that are not KDE staff. Well, some of them are KDE staff, but we have non-KDE staff that also go through and blind score the applications. And then once those are scored, there are interviews as well. So then there's a score that comes through, and then the determination is made based on that. But it is possible, depending on where the spots are opened, based on the vacancies, as to who might, which particular district might get a spot. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions? Great. All right. Well, I think that is all we have for you today. Again, our regular meeting is scheduled for the regular time slot. I believe it's on the 23rd of February. We'll be working on an agenda. I'll be reaching out to you. As you know, the commissioner has been letting us kind of have you guys set the agenda. So think about some of the things that you would like to discuss on that agenda for me, and we'll get to setting that agenda here within the next week and get that out there for approval. And we will see you on the 23rd. And I'll let Dr. Glass close us out if he's still with us.
I am, and I think you've just done that. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Nice seeing everyone.